did you know that humans have about 6,000 thoughts every single day? That's about walking 3 miles in our mind, just over and over, every single day, rinse and repeat. And most of us are walking that same mental route because why? Our thoughts are fueled by habits. And our thoughts being habitual, or a habitual thought loop, goes something like this: a thought, an emotion, and then a behavior. In other words, our thoughts trigger an emotion, and an emotion unleashes a behavior. So most of the time, this loop is running very quietly in the background because it's just something we don't have to think about every day. Just going in the background, just these little habits throughout the whole day. But stress is what turns the volume up all the way. And that volume becomes so distracting. So let me take a mundane task like getting a glass of water. You don't notice every thought involved with that task. You don't narrate it as you go. You just do it. It's just very simple. You just go from, I want water. There's probably not an emotion there. It's very neutral. And then the behavior is you get the water. Now take that same task, getting a drink of water, a glass of water, same body, but now your nervous system is under stress. And I'm sure a scenario just popped in every one of your mind, maybe preparing for an impending snowstorm while also coming to this event today, right? Or maybe you have a deadline for work, or maybe your kids are all screaming at one another in the other room while you're on a Zoom meeting, right? So these moments where we're experiencing high stress, that same thought of the very mundane task, I want water, but I don't have time. Now there's tension in the body, there's irritation, there's probably a hum of anxiety, and now the behavior, getting a glass of water, gets put on the back burner. It gets distracted. The noise cancels out the behavior. Stress does not change how you feel. It changes the order of operations. Under stress, behavior stops following need and starts following threat. So I'd like you to just sit as you are right now, but notice your shoulders. Notice your jaw, and notice your breathing. Now I'm going to ask you to tense your shoulders just ever so slightly. Clench your jaw a little bit, and then take a really shallow breath in so you're really high up, and then imagine doing that same mundane task from this place. You can exhale. And then take another deep breath in if you went with me, and exhale again. Relax your shoulders. Nothing in your life changed just then, but your nervous system did. Resilience asks, can I survive this? Antifragility asks, how will this make me better prepared for what's next? So let me deepen this definition of antifragility for you. It's one step beyond resilience. It's adopting the mindset that says, I expect chaos and I am ready for it. You actually may not realize this, but everyone in this room already has this practice in them already. And once it's identified, it'll be easier for you to go back to time and time again and lean into the next time chaos strikes. All right, imagine this. Very easy to imagine. It's a cold weekend, but this Saturday you're not here. You have spent all day cleaning your house. You've meal prepped for the week. You've done all the things. So that way now it's Sunday, And you're cozy on your couch with your big blanket, and you've got your book, or you're watching football, whatever it is. You are just relaxed and so ready for the week because of what you did the day before. But now, all of a sudden, you hear water running in the house. Immediately, your sympathetic nervous system kicks into high gear. Adrenaline surges, panic sets in, and without thinking, you jump to investigate. Now your heart rate is increased, your blood pressure has risen, breathing is faster and shallower, your pupils dilate, and your muscles are tense. And when you turn the corner, you see there's a leak in your plumbing, and now there's water on the floor. There's water coming out of the walls. It's chaos. You literally just stepped into chaos. So pause for a moment. Life 100% broke the rules in this scenario. You were relaxed. You were supposed to have a cozy Sunday, reading your books, hanging out with your family, your friends, snuggling your puppy. But life said, no, I got other plans for you. And when does life always go as planned? By show of hands, how many of you have ever experienced life not going as planned? Okay, yay. I figured everyone would raise their hand pretty much, thank you. So it's super normal. Over 75% of adults report experiencing moderate to high stress regularly. So back to this chaotic moment that I've painted for you. What happens next? You immediately try to catch the water with your hands, putting your hands where the holes are, where the water's seeping up from. You scream for help, even though you're the only one home alone. You're home alone. You stare at the mess and the chaos and disassociate for a minute. A mixture of these things, something in between. But no matter what, here's the most important thing that happens next. You ready? You act. You say, put me in, coach. You turn the water off in the bathroom. You grab towels and the shop vac and clean up the mess. You get a fan and dry up the water. You deal with the chaos. As I previously mentioned, antifragility is one step beyond resilience. And resilience resists shocks and stays the same. The antifragile gets better. The antifragile thrives in chaos and is excited by stress. So what if I told you right now that you could mentally train your brain to skip that panic button moment and harness stress to be able to jump right into action? Antifragility feels like this lofty goal, but the truth is, it is super learnable. You don't have to be naturally resilient or fearless to grow through disruption. So go back to that water scenario. Instead of turning the corner and seeing the water disassociating for a moment, you instead say, okay, here I go, and you just jump right in. Antifragility can be practiced, developed, and strengthened over time. It's just a matter of learning how to interrupt your stress habits and make them better. In moments of stress, our thoughts often drive the narrative. It's our habitual thought loop that's running in the background. We're not thinking about how we react most of the time. A go-to thought in a chaotic moment might be, why is this happening to me? From that thought, our body goes into autopilot. But this is where antifragility as a skill can be implemented. You have to interrupt your habitual thought loop and choose a new path forward. Life is not happening to you. It is asking you to participate. Everything is figure-outable. Yes, I made that a new word. Everything is figure-outable. When something happens, how do you respond and rise to the occasion? So think about your own lives. How do you respond to chaos and stress? What's your go-to reaction? Antifragility is more than just bouncing back from the situation. It's expecting chaos and using your stress to fuel excitement and participate. So, fun fact, we're actually not born resilient. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we're not. So babies learn resilience through relationship and repetition. Every time a baby experiences discomfort, hunger, cold, a wet diaper, frustration, all those things, they're experiencing stress. Resilience isn't learned from the stress itself, but it's learned in the what happens next. Baby cries, caregiver responds, baby calms, nervous system resets. That cycle, stress, support, recovery, is the original resilience workout. And so therefore, antifragility can be learned. Adopting an anti-fragile mindset can be a skill you can find. Okay, I've got one more experience for you to lean into with me right now. So I'd like you to repeat after me. Ready? I can do anything for 15 minutes. I love it. Okay. I can do hard things. Okay. Now, if you can, I'd like you to stand up right now. Repeat the phrase again. Good. Now, I'd like you to stay standing and count backwards from 100, counting by threes. Repeat the phrase again. Good. Okay, you can pause and have a seat. Thank you. That was your exercise for Act 2. Next time I'll make you do jumping jacks, okay? We can do anything for 15 minutes, right? Okay, so nothing about that task changed. Repeat a phrase, repeat a phrase, repeat a phrase. That's a very simple, mundane task. Your intelligence didn't disappear. However, the conditions changed. I created disruption. I created chaos. And in that chaos, you were asked to do a very mundane task. So think for a moment if it felt awkward, confusing. I made your heart rate escalate when I asked you to stand, right? These are all things that we experience out there in the real world, just day to day, these simple stressors. Somebody slams their car and hits their brakes in the car in front of you, right? You have to react very quickly. Those kids are screaming, snowstorm coming, all these things. We can't escape it. Life will continue to break the rules. But antifragility is the idea that we don't just withstand the disruption, we grow stronger because of it. And when we expect disruption, because life, like I said, will continue to break the rules, our stress stops feeling like a threat and starts becoming energy for action. So the next time you find yourself in an audience like this, and the speaker asks you to repeat after them and stand up and sit down and count backwards from 100 by threes, you will actually feel excited by that and go, oh, I'm ready. I'm excited. Put me in, coach. You will no longer only bounce back from situations, but instead you will rise through those situations, through that noise, through that disruption. And when you choose antifragility, You will gain clarity and the confidence to evolve, not just in spite of disruption, but because of it. Antifragility is not about performing perfectly in chaos. It's about learning how to adapt when the conditions keep changing. Life is meant to be lived in. Expect mess, expect chaos, and when it does, you will feel ready, steady, energized, and willing to step forward. Thank you so much.